G'day everyone and welcome back to AHP Outdoors. If you're new here, my name is Jason. I'm back in a state forest for at least the next 6 days hunting. Now it's a little bit different because I'm actually on my own for the first couple of days, which I'm not used to. I say in my videos, or at least online and stuff, that hunting is 50-50 for me. I love going out hunting, but I also love the camaraderie of friendship, coming back around the fire, enjoying good food, enjoying people's company. Because I think ultimately that's what hunting is all about. Enjoying it with your friends, enjoying it with your family. It doesn't matter who it is, just getting out in the bush and enjoying it. Just doesn't feel the same when you're on your own, but I did want to come out there, test my limits a little bit, you might say, especially at night time. Not too much of a fan of being out here at night on my own, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm going to go hunting. I'm just going to go for a drive. I'm going to go have a look. I'm just going to go pick up some firewood and hopefully we're going to have some luck today, but you know, we'll see how we go. I tell you what, cutting wood is harder than it looks, I can tell you that much, especially when you're doing it on your own. With camp set up and firewood cut to keep me warm on the first night of the hunt, I headed down to do a bit of scouting. Some burning was taking place in the state forest and decided to stop off for a look. All right, so I'm just heading down to go hunting and I came over the hill and you can see here, they're just burning off this entire valley. I think they do it to just control that undergrowth. I'm not sure when they actually come back and start doing the planting, but I think that's what it's for, clear out all the weeds, get ready for planting eventually, but definitely wouldn't want to be camping up here on the hill because you'd be getting a face full of smoke right now. But you can see about 4 patches of live fire down there. And yeah, it does look pretty cool. I'm doing a time lapse, but anyway, it's getting late. We've only got about 2 hours before dark, so let's go hunting. The clouds had started to form and I was hoping I was going to be in for a good hunt this afternoon. Being on your own, it's something different, something new, but I was definitely up for the challenge. All right, what they don't tell you when I actually do this footage is you've got to carry cameras, you've got to carry tripods, shooting sticks, seats to sit on when you're going to sit in a vantage point. I tell you what, it's a lot of stuff to carry. Anyway, we've got probably another hour to go. Let's go. I was walking into my spot and I was noting deer tracks in the mud all the way down to my hunting spot. And that's definitely what you want to see when you're hunting in your designated area. I just got up to my spot. But I'm sweating a bit. It's actually warmer than I expected. I've got my thermals on. Way too hot. You're not going to believe it where I'm about to sit. I'm going to show you now. There's actually deer prints right where I'm going to sit. I guess they're making their way up this hill. Anyway, less talk. Let's sit down and get into position. The clouds started to shadow the distant hills and 2 fallow deer broke cover just bolting down the fence line away from me. Fallow deer, they certainly are odd creatures at times. Light was fading quickly and the same fallow deer I saw 20 minutes earlier came back up the fence line where the roos had come out feeding. It was a Mexican standoff with the humble kangaroo versus the skittish fallow deer. Our little hooved friends didn't want any of that smoke, so they veered off into the natural forest to find some cover. Things were looking ominous weather-wise, and I thought it was smoke on the horizon moving towards me. No, that was the severe rain episode headed my way, and I got caught out big time. Well, that was a shitty end of the hunt. I'm not sure if you can hear it. We've got rain on the roof. Camera is soaked almost. I tried to get back, but when you got tripods out, shooting sticks, chairs, just came over the mountain and I was like, what's that? Is that the smoke from the fires? And then it just like started to piss down. I'm like, oh my God. Anyway, and now it's basically stopped. Anyway, we're gonna head back to camp, grab something to eat. Oh man, I guess still, it's only the first day. Still got a long way to go. I I was headed back to camp and the fires we passed earlier in the afternoon were still burning brightly. Talk about a free light show. It was definitely cool to watch. Yo, guys, I thought I told you to stay off the road, huh? See ya. Dinner was a quick wrap and it was time to stoke up the fire with some wood to keep warm. To be honest, even though I was on my own, I was having a better time than I thought I would being on my own for the first part of this hunting trip. The sun rays burst over the morning horizon and I was heading to another spot I'd seen deer at before. I wasn't even at my spot and the wind was going in the complete wrong direction. Something caught my eye and it looked like my scent had spooked a sambar deer out of the creek next to me. He certainly wasn't hanging around to see what my intentions were. The welcome sun warmed my bones up and the deer were popping out everywhere. I saw something on the hill and thought it had to be a deer. It was a white Judas deer that gave the other ones away. From looking at the footage when I got home, it appeared the white fellow had a problem with its back leg. Not sure if it was injured, maybe it had been shot before and survived, or had some type of hereditary disability. Disability? I don't know, but it certainly looked like it needed some treatment. Not even 5 minutes after I saw that deer bust out of that cover out there, just over here up on the hill, I saw just something. I thought, what's that? And I knew it was white. I knew was it a goat? So I'm thinking that's probably a white fallow. I was right. There was a dark one and a white one. I wouldn't have seen them if I didn't see the white one, because I probably, I don't know. Let's just have a look. Probably about, yes, about that 626 metres away, so. But it's good, we're seeing it, mate. Not even 15, 20 minutes in the spot just on sunrise. We've already seen 3 deer. I'm just not in the right spot. That's the problem. Anyway, look at this. Hell yeah. The roos were out enjoying the warm morning sun, but so were the deer. I saw this fallow buck in turbo mode heading for the natural part of the forest. I barely got him on camera and in focus, but filming him silhouetted on the horizon was definitely one of the highlights of the day. The deer appeared to be everywhere that I wasn't. To be honest, I was just enjoying myself watching and observing the deer and monitoring what they were up to and their movements in conjunction with the position of the sun. I think you can learn a lot about deer by just watching them and what they get up to. The day moon was on full display and the deer were all over the place popping out at different locations. Unfortunately, none were any closer than 700 metres from where I was situated. The boys had sent me a message and said they left a day early and were only 20 minutes away from camp. I packed up to head back to camp as I'd considered the day was already a huge success with the amount of deer I'd seen. When I got back, as usual, when your friends arrive, there's always one acting the fool. Get out of it, you mongrel.
You move your car, mate?
Get stuffed. All right, guys, so we just got back to camp and the guys have just showed up. You know my mate here, Leif, my mate Leif. Can't even see him.
Hello.
And
how are you?
We've also got his son Luke. How you going, mate?
Going good, mate.
All right, you're going to shoot a deer. Is your dad going to show you the ropes on how to shoot a deer or what?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to train him, show him a few things, show him what to look for, the sign, the prints, the rubs.
Listen, I'll be honest with you, right?
Everything.
Your dad does shoot a pretty good deer. He's done pretty good for me when I'm making videos to get shooting deer on camera. It's probably more arse than class, but he's not a bad bloke. He's not a bad bloke. Anyway, we're going to go out tonight. We're going to have a great time. Let's go. On our way down to our spot, the forest was still smouldering considerably from days earlier. My mate stopped to show his son what to look for in the soft ground when trying to see if deer are in the area you want to hunt in. All right, my mate was just showing his son the deer prints on the ground here, which looks pretty good. So we've got the old buck. He's teaching the young buck how to look for deer. Check this out, guys. I'll show you. There's just prints everywhere here too. All right, we've got some prints there. While some of those are emu, those definitely aren't emu. What else we got? Some deer prints there. Deer prints all through here. Some more deer prints here. And you can see, guys, they just move up here. Look. And they just keep going along that edge there. So when you're in a forest where you're seeing lots of prints like this, it's definitely good. The sun lit the side of the hill and my mate's son was enjoying his first tag-along experience out with the boys, enjoying the banter and the great outdoors, because this is what it's all about. We've just been sitting here. We're trying to make a video here, guys, and all these assholes can do is just keep laughing about the dumbest shit possible. But this is what hunting's all about, guys. It's about having fun. That's what it's all about. But you can't get any hunting done with these two. Bloody laughing all the bloody time. If it's not laughing at my jokes, they're laughing at their own jokes. Look. Anyway, back to it. There's a lot of roos come out. Probably a good 60 roos are out right now. Anyway, probably about half an hour to go. And now he's farting. Can you believe this? How are we going to hunt? How can you hunt with this sort of tomfoolery going on, man? Ridiculous. Sorry. We were on the binos seeing lots of animals, but unfortunately just not the intended targets we were looking for. I swear I've seen this fox before that I filmed on a previous hunt with its white-coloured backside. This was probably the first time I haven't seen deer in this area when I've been out hunting. The light was fading quickly behind the distant mountains and it was back to camp for a delicious camp cook-up. Well, it was the young fella's first night and we didn't even see anything because we normally see a lot of deer in that spot. Anyway, all the boys are back, so now it's time to sit around the campfire, have maybe some chicken wings or some food, who knows, go and have a few laughs because this is what it's all about.
We've got the pièce de résistance, the chicken riblets, ready to go. It's going to be awesome. Grab more than one so you don't have to keep getting up.
It was a cold morning in the state forest and I was about 20 minutes late to get to where I wanted to be for the early morning hunt. The sun saturated the tops of the hills and again I was seeing good amounts of deer feeding in the warm sunlight. Alright guys, these deer have been on the hill now for about 35 minutes. About 900 metres away. Just eating. sunning themselves. If they keep this up, I might even make a play for them. Now, when I was looking at these deer, I could only see the light-coloured does feeding on the hill. There was also a very good-sized buck on the hill with them. Because he was a darker chocolate colour and I didn't hit good focus with the camera, I had absolutely no idea this buck was there. I set a plan to move back along the fringe and get as close as I possibly could. Even on the way there, there were hoof prints galore. So I'm just going to follow these deer. I'm going to try and walk up around the track, see how close I can get. But check out these footprints. This is what you want to be looking for. Now that's what you want to be looking for. I'm going to try and get closer to these deer. Let's see how we go. Don't know how I'm going to get around without them seeing me, but let's give it a go. Oh shit, man. More deer prints. Holy cow, man. I barely got closer than 470 metres and I put my bag down to get a good shooting rest. What looked like does were already on edge looking down in my direction. The buck didn't look spooked, but I knew it was only a matter of time before they'd do the bolt to freedom if I didn't hurry up. I'm pretty sure when I took the shot it hit some blackberries right in front of me. It was a comedy of errors and a huge disappointment considering this was only the second buck I'd seen all trip. I just tried to make a play on those 4 deer, large buck, chocolate buck, chocolate fallow doe, and 2 of the small fawny ones. The 2 fawny small ones were onto me first. I tried to move my way up along the track. I only got about 20 metres and they're already starting to look down here. So I came back to this spot here, tried to put my bag down, 472 metres, and they were all just looking at me. Me just putting my bag down on this little bit of leaf matter here, debris, whatever you want to call it. They were already looking down at me. Oh, it's just unbelievable, these deer, skittish, spook. You even look at them, they fucking get scared, you know? Like, oh, anyway, I had a shot at 472 metres, unsuccessful. You know, it is what it is. Anyway, so disappointing because that was a good sized buck too. Just, they've been on this hill for over half an hour now. Anyway, back to camp, you know, lick my wounds, I guess. I was driving back to camp and doing a bit of scouting, and I can't believe how many prints I was actually seeing. It was crazy the amount of deer traffic that was making its way through this area. I just got out of the car, and this is what you're looking for again when you're looking at tracks. Keep an eye on where you're going. Let me show you this, because this is awesome how many deer tracks there are here. All right, we've got some deer tracks here. We've got some tracks here, and there's some good sized tracks like this one here. That's a good sized deer. Now you can see them all through the track here. Now look at the side. You can see where they've been walking down the side of the track. Walkie, walkie, walkie. Just deer tracks everywhere. Look at them. I think there's an emu in one of those, but the rest of them are just deer tracks. Look at them. And they keep going just down the road. Keep walking. Tracks everywhere, and there are tracks all through here, walking down there. Perfect. So this is one place I'll put on my little map, and you never know when you might intercept a deer in one of these areas, but that's a good sign. The skies became dull and dreary and greyed out, and rain was expected over the coming few days. On the way back to hunting camp, I noticed this burnt out piece of machinery. It looks like it's been there since the fires moved through in the January summer of 2020. Looks like an expensive lesson about leaving equipment out in the bush. All right, guys, so I just got back, right? My mate's asking me, oh, how did you go? Did you see anything? Blah, 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 blah. And I said, nah. I said, I saw a couple, had half a chance, but it went into the creek. I said, what about you? And he goes, oh, basically, you know, I saw a couple of bucks, I saw a couple of deer, but he didn't get anything, yada, 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 yada. Anyway, this is like a 5-minute conversation, right? And then all of a sudden, I look on the ground behind me, right there, you can see the white thing right there. That's the game bag and it's got all blood all over it. And he goes, oh, by the way, I did get one, it's hanging up over there. Can I just say, why are you such a bastard?
Well, I was telling a story and you didn't let me finish. You're being too impatient.
Can you believe it? Like, I'm sitting there, he's telling me how he saw these deer, he didn't get anything, and then there's a blood-soaked, fish bag right in front of me.
Oh, I didn't know that was there.
No, I did. Once I started looking down and I realised that, I'm like, what the hell's got this blood on it? Hang on a minute, what? And then,
Yeah. It was coming right for me. Didn't know what to do. I thought it was going to gore me to death, so,
Anyway, good stuff. We'll go get a bit of footage when they start caping it out, and but
it's fucking cold.
yeah, it's a bit overcast today, but anyway, it is what it is.
People were starting to shoot some deer, and honestly, I was feeling a little bit left out. I enjoy these trips for far more than just shooting and hunting, but for friendship, and I also like making these videos. I want to share the memories with you all and to look back when I'm older and enjoy them later on in life. I was heading down to my spot and I was seeing deer tracks absolutely everywhere. It was freezing, and I thought to myself, why would a deer show up here today at the exact same time I was sitting here?
I'm out for the afternoon hunt. Picked another different spot that I haven't hunted before, overlooking this little marshy area with dead timber. So hopefully we're going to have some luck here. It's a great vantage point. I can probably see 400 metres by about 100 metres to my left and up to 800 metres to my right. So let's hope they don't come out there. Hopefully I catch them moving through this marshy area and across and try and intercept them. So it's looking good, but man, it's cold. The wind's gotten up. You can see the pine behind me. But anyway, time to shut up.
I was standing up and looking around, and a deer popped out right at the exact spot, which was the best place to shoot one. Honestly, I couldn't believe my luck. Whilst it wasn't some huge buck, I was desperate for meat, and this was the next best thing. Because I was standing up, I spooked the deer a few times. I ended up knocking the tripod when I attempted to lower myself back down onto the chair. Luckily, the deer was none the wiser. It was safety off, and this little chocolate snack pack was no chance against the 7mm Magnum. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Oh, man. Man, it is freezing. This is exactly where I wanted the deer to show up. Exactly. Popped up. I was actually standing up at the time, about 145 metres away, and she kind of looked at me, and so I didn't move. I think it's a female doe anyway. And then I sat down on my chair, got my shooting stick set up, and then I made another bit of a squeak by accident on the chair. She looked up again, I didn't move, and she went back to feeding. And then I just squeezed the trigger straight off the shooting sticks. Meat for the table, more twiggy sticks, more backstraps, more rissoles, more sausages. Oh, I love this, man. I love it. Even though it's windy and I'm freezing my ass off, where else would you rather be? Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the car. It's only about probably 60 metres from the track, so should be a pretty easy pull out. Let's go.
A classic mountain sunset flooded the afternoon sky, and I got in the car and headed down to load up the deer. I'm surprised, but it actually took me quite a while to find it.
All right, so I've been here for about 10 minutes just punching in to find it. Man, these weeds, it doesn't even look that tall when you're up there. Mate, this pine is about 6 foot high. These weeds are almost 6 foot high. It was literally like 40 metres from the track. I don't know, we'll keep looking. Man, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Weeds everywhere, pine. All right, so we found it. Little spiker.
little knobs on the head. Only a little junior one, but a nice dark chocolate one, which I absolutely love. Check it out. Oh, nice little chocolate colour one. Love it. Beautiful. Yeah, little knobs on the head. Yeah. Look at that beautiful coat. Nice chocolate colour. Just a beautiful animal. This is going to turn out great for meat. Just beautiful. I pulled the deer some 80 metres out of the bush, and my mate dropped by to give me a hand to load up the deer on the back of the tray.
Dog, eh? Just make sure this thing's aside so it doesn't dirty up.
We headed back to camp, I hung up the deer, I gutted it, and we decided to cook up some deer organs like the heart and the liver. We threw in some garlic, onions and butter and a few spices. And to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of liver, but this was pretty damn good. There's nothing like taking a deer and cooking it up within an hour of shooting it.
Looking promising. A few onions to give it some flavour.
We sat around the warm fire with full bellies enjoying another hunting trip that was quickly coming to an end. But little did we know, the weather was about to change significantly over the next couple of days. We woke up in the morning to over 20 mils of rain, broken tarps, broken awnings, as the rain and wind was absolutely hectic overnight. Most of us barely got any sleep. I skinned and prepped the deer, and we chucked a few pieces of the deer onto the barbecue grill for a low and slow smoked venison lunchtime cookout.
So we cooked the ribs and the spine on the fire, low and slow.
SLP.
And I'm just enjoying peeling off all these yummy bits off it. It's bloody delicious. Fantastic.
So we've got some venison sitzel. We got the venison on the last trip, so my wife pre-prepped it in a vac seal bag for us, pre-crumbed. So we're going to enjoy it on this trip, you know, for the last trip. Reggie's got some potato salad he's just heating up for us. So we're trying to make a good meal out of it. Trying to make good with this bad weather and enjoy yourselves.
Does she tenderise them?
Alright, just got back. The boys stayed in because it was raining and I thought I'd go out. Got these two little beauties just before dark. We're going to prepare them up and the heads are going to go to young Zoe here. She loves rabbit heads. Going to be good. Come on Zoe, let's go chop them. Come on. Come on Zoe.
Unfortunately, the weather got worse and worse over the next 24 hours, and our only choice was to call it quits for this trip. Sometimes it happens, but you got to know when to pull up stumps and head home. Thanks for watching as usual, and I'll see you on the next one.